Hey guys, it is Christian here, and today I am going to review Artemis Fowl. Artemis Fowl is directed by Kenneth Branagh and stars Ferdia Shaw, Lara McDonald, Josh Gad, Tamara Smart, Nonzo Anozie, Colin Farrell, and Judi Dench. So this movie is about a 12-year-old criminal mastermind who needs to find his father after he goes missing. And fun fact, this is the first Disney Plus original movie that I have ever watched. I watched a little bit of Lady and the Tramp remake, but I never finished it. But I haven't seen any of the other ones like Noelle or Timmy Failure. So this was basically the first one I watched. Based on the trailers, I did not think this movie was going to be good. I mean, and the trailers were bad, but I thought maybe they could have potential with good performances and good visuals and be a good-looking movie. So let's see do I think it lived up to the hype and then pleasantly surprised me, or did I just hate it with a burning passion? So I want to tell you guys quickly, this is a bad movie. I did not like it at all. So I didn't like it. This is not a movie review. This is not a rant. This is not an extreme rant. This is an extreme mega killer rant. This movie is not good at all. Let's just start with the story. And the story was executed very poorly. There's fart jokes and the dialogue is awful, and this movie is only 1 hour and 35 minutes, and it felt like 2 hours and 55 minutes. So it felt longer than it needed to be. The action was awful. Now let's go to technically. This movie is a technical disaster. The visual effects are atrocious, especially that ugly monster. It looked hideous. The cinematography was awful. It had awful cinematography. It looked cheap. It looked like it would go on Disney Plus, and not surprised that it did. The editing, so many cuts, and this has worse editing than Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, I actually like that movie, so no disrespect there, but the editing was all over the place in that movie. It kept zooming in, zooming out, zooming out. Yeah. Artemis Fowl isn't bad, but it's worse because so many cuts, and it keeps like going all over the place. The sound design was awful, and the makeup was bad. The costumes were silly, and this was a technical failure. Now let's go to the characters and the performances. The characters were awful. Artemis Fowl was a very unlikable kid. His father is barely in the movie, and Commander Root wasn't really great. Same thing with Holly Short or Mulch Diggins. Mulch Diggins, he looks like Hagrid from Harry Potter, and I never had a connection to those books. I've never had a connection to these Artemis Fowl books either, just to let you guys know. But overall, the characters sucked, and there was a centaur in the movie, And that was awful CGI. I believe that was CGI, and it looked awful. Domavoy Butler wasn't a good character. Same thing as his niece. She wasn't a good character. None of the characters were good. The performances are bad. Ferdia Shaw, I don't want to shame kid actors because they are only kids. So I'm not going to say he was bad, but because it is his first, because it is, I believe, his first movie, so I don't want to, like, get too harsh. Well, but he wasn't really good, not to be mean. Colin Farrell is barely in the movie, and he's not good. Nonzo Nosey wasn't good as the butler, neither was, Judi Dench. She has cats in this movie. She needs to get her track record back together. Leonard McDonald wasn't good. I did not like Holly Short in this movie. Josh Gad wasn't really that good. The worst performance in the movie, though, I said I don't want to shame kid actors, but I might have to here, is Tamara Smart. Because her character, you guys might disagree with me on this, but that's okay. But her character looks like something out of the PBS Kids show Odd Squad, and that show's atrocious. Her character looks like exactly something, like, directly from that show and into this movie. Yeah, but Ferdia Shaw, he also wasn't good, but he's probably going to get better work soon. And Josh Gad, not good. His voiceovers were stupid. I already said he wasn't good, though, so sorry. So, I didn't really like anything about this movie whatsoever. The CGI was awful, the cinematography was awful, the editing was awful, the performances were awful, the characters were awful, the story was awful, the dialogue was awful, the humor was awful. Everything about the movie was awful. This is my new worst movie of 2020. Sorry, Fantasy Island, and you were bad, but this movie's worse. This isn't just the worst movie of 2020, or the worst Disney movie I've ever seen, or the worst movie of the century. This is the worst movie of all time. That's right, I'm going that far. Artemis Fowl gets a 0 out of 10 and an F. Do not watch this movie. It is not worth your time. So thanks for watching, and bye.